Welcome to this video. This is the Passware Kit 2020 update, and we're going to go through some of the new features introduced to PKF since the start of the year. We're going to go through new functionality within Dictionary Manager. We're going to go through Passware Kit Forensic for Mac Beta Edition. We're going to talk about users' ability to access APFS disks from Mac computers where there exists a T2 chip. Talk through some of the new file formats that we're supporting, such as QuickBooks 2020 and cryptocurrency wallets such as Dashcore, Dogecoin and Litecoin, and the new ability for automatic updates to Passware Kit agents running Linux. So to start off, I'll go through the improvements we've made to our Dictionary Manager. So in version 1, which came out at the start of the year, we introduced a new built-in tool for managing dictionaries and word lists used by the Dictionary Attack. Now, this tool now allows users to import custom word lists, to sort, export and import existing dictionaries, as well as the ability to edit, merge and delete unnecessary dictionaries. Now, this new version is radically faster than it was previously, and, for example, can import a 200 gigabyte word list file in under an hour on a powerful machine. And it looks like this. So you can see all of the dictionaries now are in one place, easy to manage and work with. And the examiner has now the ability to add several files for compilation at a time, and the tool will manage that workflow. Now, it's particularly useful when we're importing particularly large word lists, as it allows users to import these and run these overnight or at quiet times. As mentioned, we've released a beta version of PKF for Macs. Now, this is available for free for all existing SMS customers, and we would really welcome feedback that people have if you're using this. This is what it looks like. So Passware Kit Forensic for Mac supports all the key features of Windows version, so it should look quite familiar. So file password recovery, FDE encryption, mobile forensics, batch file processing, distributed password recovery, etc. In addition, with Passware Kit Forensic for Mac, the examiner might get access to APFS disks from Mac computers with a T2 chip, and I'll go through that in a little bit more detail now. So as mentioned, in the latest version of PKF, we've introduced support for T2 chips. Now, Apple takes privacy, security and encryption very seriously, and while the latest improvements in macOS and iOS help users keep their data safe, they also create additional challenges for us as forensic examiners. Now, any computer protected with the T2 chip, which was released in 2017-2018, so looking at devices post then, has an additional layer of hardware-based encryption, making it difficult to access APFS disks in any forensically sound way. The tool requires either iCloud credentials or an iOS backup of the same Apple ID. Now, there might be several scenarios where this would work. So, for example, an examiner has full access to the suspect's iCloud credentials. 2, the examiner does not have the ready-made iTunes backup, but has access to any of the other suspect's Apple devices, for example, their phone or their iPad, which are connected to the same Apple ID, in which case the examiner would create an encrypted, and it's important that it is encrypted, iTunes backup and use that in this T2 attack process. Or 3, the examiner has the encrypted iTunes backup, but does not know the passwords. And now in this case, the examiner might first try to recover the password using PKF, and in the case the password is recovered, we can then use that encrypted iTunes backup with a known password to unlock the Mac with the T2. So for this to work, the examiner needs 2 Mac computers, one with the Passware Kit Mac version installed, and the target one connected via a Thunderbolt cable. Passware Kit Forensic runs from a Mac connected to the target computer via a Thunderbolt USB-C cable and unlocks the APFS disk via iCloud recovery, and then mounts it to the customer's Mac in a read-only mode. As such. Now at this point, once we're access to it, the examiner is free then to acquire that using any imaging tool which they choose. So in addition to passwords extracted from the macOS keychain, Passware Kit 2020 also instantly extracts passwords from the macOS system keychain, which contains things like Wi-Fi passwords, certificates and private keys. To perform this analysis, the examiner is required to specify 2 things. Firstly, the system keychain file, where the default location is under library keychains system.keychain, and the master key, where the default location is private var db system key. The macOS system keychain feature has been added to the password managers category on the start page. Furthermore, Passware Kit now instantly extracts and displays password hints for File Vault 2 accounts and recovers a system recovery key if one exists. Now, in the case the recovery key is known, Passware Kit instantly decrypts the File Vault 2 volume, and PKF won't do the same job twice, so it will instantly create an unprotected volume using the already extracted recovery key. Now, we can see here password hints might be extremely useful and informative. Now, the displayed information should be taken into account to prepare appropriate password attack models, so it's definitely worth taking a look at. So on to newly supported file types. In PKF 2020, we've added instant decryption for QuickBooks 2020. All passwords are removed instantly, and PKF creates an unprotected version of the database in question. We've also added support for some new cryptocurrency wallets, such as Dashcore, Dogecoin, and Litecoin. Let's look at an example. So in this example, we're in batch mode, and we've added several cryptocurrency wallets and one QuickBooks file to PKF. Now, the QuickBooks database has been added to the instant recovery group, but to get access to the wallets, we require the original file open passwords to be recovered. Now, in the latest version of PKF, which is v3, the examiner is allowed to add duplicates to different groups. As you can see here, we have Litecoin wallet added to default recovery and custom recovery 1. This allows the examiner to try different attack settings against the same file. Once the password is recovered within one of the custom groups, the found password will be displayed for each duplicate in the list automatically. Let's have a bit more of a look at the QuickBooks file format. So PKF almost instantly creates an unprotected database. But in the case the original user password is required and wants to be recovered, the examiner can try to recover the password for one of the accounts. In case the examiner knows the original password for any of the accounts, it will be enough to get access to the full database. All they need to do is follow the recover link from the results page and make up the new attack model. In this case, we'd recommend choosing the custom settings and prepare a dedicated password recovery attack model, taking into account the known information about the suspect's previous passwords and his previous password patterns. We've introduced an important new element here called the join attack group. The new all possible combinations option joins attacks in all possible alternatives. For example, a join group of dictionary plus brute force numbers only attack will cover passwords like 123password, password 123 if all possible combinations is selected. Once the attack model is ready, the examiner is free to start the recovery process. Passware Kit displays the recovered password immediately rather than waiting for the MD5 calculation. For files protected with multiple passwords, Passware Kit now shows the results immediately after the recovery of any password while keeping the recovery process for the remaining passwords running. Another area on which we've been working recently is improving our GPU performance. Now, anyone who's done any sort of password cracking work previously will know that recovery speed is one of the essential keys to success, and we at Passware are constantly working on increasing our recovery speeds for numerous file formats. We can see here that we've increased our GPU acceleration performance by up to 3 times between 2019 version 4 and 2020 version 3 for zip and AES file formats, and 1.5 times for cryptocurrency blockchain wallets. Now, it's worth noting at this point that blockchain wallets, there are 2 passwords. There's a file open password, which gains access to the file, and a secondary password, which has access to the most important data in the wallet. Now, without knowing the file open password, it's not possible to recover the secondary password, and the speed specified on the slide here refer to the file open password only. We've also been working with decrypting GPU accelerated units, and you can see here the speed gains on deploying specialist GPU acceleration hardware are massive, with up to 27 million passwords per second on zip and AES files. So on to some other improvements that we've recently made. So standalone system attacks. We've improved a lot for standalone attacks, and I'll go into more detail on that on the next slide. We've also improved our support for the latest Chromium-based web browsers, such as Opera, Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge. Passware is the leader in full disk encryption support, and we keep improving PKF in that direction. I'll go into more detail on that in a few slides' time. So a quick overview here on our improvements of standalone system attacks. Passware Kit adds support for Windows 10 and 8 standalone systems protected with Windows Hello, and that's with a PIN or picture password. It recovers the user PIN or picture and extracts passwords and other data from the registry. And this comes along with some UI changes, which I'll go into in a moment. For Windows 8 with Windows Hello, PIN or Picture Password, both PIN and local account passwords are recovered instantly. For Windows 10, instant local account password recovery is available in case a picture password was set. In the case that PIN was used, PKF can sometimes detect the length of the PIN and assign ready-made brute force attack to recover the PIN. It should be noted, however, that standalone attack is only applicable to systems without a TPM installed. So the UI changes. The end user is required to specify the Windows folder from the extracted system. We might leave it as it is and recover user account passwords only. Or in case the user's folder is also available and the examiner wants to extract more passwords, enable the check what user folder is available and continue. The standalone system analysis option now allows us to select a single Windows user to recover its password, or alternatively choose all users and try to recover the passwords for each of the accounts. It's important to note at this point that the recovery speed for one selected user and all users remains the same, i.e. no extra time is required in case of all users option. Passware Kit now also displays users with no password set or with an empty password. After Windows user password or PIN gets recovered, Passware Kit extracts the websites, emails and other passwords stored in the registry for this particular user. We see here an example from Opera. And finally, on some improvements we've made for full disk encryption support. So support for VeriCrypt GPT systems. Password Kit is now able to detect system partitions of GPT disks encrypted with VeriCrypt and further decrypt these by analysing a corresponding memory image. Alternatively, a brute force password recovery approach for such partitions is also supported. Faster memory analysis for VeriCrypt decryption. Password Kit automatically detects the operating system by analysing a memory image and runs only OS-specific processes for VeriCrypt key extraction, with the consequence of reducing the time spent on decryption. Instant BitLocker decryption with a known volume master key or recovery key. Any of the BitLocker protectors, whether that's TPM, password or recovery key, encrypt a BitLocker volume master key, VMK, to generate a full volume encryption key, FDE, which is then used to encrypt the volume. If a volume master key is known or has been recovered previously, Password Kit decrypts the given BitLocker volume instantly, with no need to analyse the memory image again. Just an interesting point here, there is a method that has been used to extract a BitLocker VMK using a sniffing attack on a TPM. And if you want some more information on this method, please let us know and we'll send you a link to the article. Now, the approach is quite sophisticated, but we have received feedback from customers who have used this and have been successful in extracting the VMK. If the recovery key is known, which is a numerical password, the examiner could also use this to instantly decrypt the image. And finally, new for VeriCrypt and TrueCrypt, we have key file support and encryption and hash algorithm extraction. And more about this on the next slide. So a key file is a file whose content is combined with a password, and until the correct key file is provided, no volume that uses the key file can be mounted. Now, it's rare that a suspect would use a key file for encryption, but in a situation where it has been used, PKF now supports this. Once a password has been successfully recovered, Password Kit shows the encryption and hash algorithms used. In case the examiner used a memory image to decrypt an encrypted VeriCrypt or TrueCrypt image, PKF will display encryption algorithm only, as there is no way to extract hash algorithm via a memory attack. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. Hope it was useful. If you'd like some more information or a deeper understanding on PKF, then we have our online training. Best way to access this is through our website. If you have any feedback on the product or this video, or any ideas on what we could be focusing on next, then please let us know. And the best way to contact us is through our email, which is csupport@passware.com. Thank you very much.